Hello Skillr Boxers. Today, we're breaking down the modern era kingmaker, the coach with the most Trainer of the Year awards in boxing history, also known as the Futch Award. We're going to explore the philosophy that transformed reckless fighters into some of the most dangerous and successful boxers the sport has ever seen. You'll learn the core fundamentals Freddie Roach teaches every fighter, along with some of his most unique drills and exercises, including his unorthodox method for developing the lead hook. A method that completely changed one of Manny Pacquiao's biggest weaknesses. Today, you'll step into the shoes of one of Roach's fighters, going through the same drills and concepts he taught legends like Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto, James Toney, and many more. And throughout the video, we'll also give you a workout so you can train the same concepts Freddie teaches inside the gym. But before we dive into his methods and philosophy, we need to first understand the past that shaped the way he thinks. History. Freddie Roach was born in 1960 in Dedham, Massachusetts. From a very young age, he was introduced to boxing. His father, a former boxer himself, made it clear that all his sons were going to fight, whether they wanted to or not.
You know, the thing is, he always said you didn't have to fight, but we saw what happened to my oldest brother when he didn't fight. You know, it's like he got more of the beatings and he got thrown out of the house quicker than we did.
His mother also became an amateur boxing judge, making boxing a huge part of his family's life. Roach grew up in a rough neighborhood and an even rougher household. For him, boxing became both an escape from poverty and the way to earn his father's approval.
It was a way out of the projects, or a way out, to become rich and famous, I guess.
After a successful amateur career, Freddie turned professional in 1978. And during his very first fight in Las Vegas, he met the man who would change his life forever, Eddie Futch. Under Futch, Roach developed into a highly skilled boxer. Technically he was excellent, but Freddie always loved to fight. He constantly engaged in wars, taking far more punishment than he should have.
Freddie could box, let's put it this way. He knows how to box. But the problem with Freddie was, when he found out that he could take a punch, or he found out that they didn't hurt him when they hit him, he stopped boxing. He turned into a slugger.
And that habit would eventually shape the entire philosophy he later taught as a coach. Then came the turning point. In what was supposed to be a tune-up fight before a title shot against Mario Chavez, Roach broke his hand. After that fight, he was never quite the same.
I broke my hand in the second round. I won a 10-round decision, but kind of maybe ruined my career a little bit.
As the punishment continued to accumulate, Eddie Futch made a difficult decision. Concerned for Freddie's health, he told him it was time to retire and offered him a place in his corner as a trainer.
I said, in your best interest, I don't want you to fight anymore. I think the best thing for you to do is just to stop competitive boxing and come and work with me as my assistant.
At first, Roach refused. He kept fighting and continued absorbing damage until eventually he accepted Futch's offer and began his journey as a coach. After gaining experience as an assistant trainer, Roach got his first major opportunity when Virgil Hill asked him to serve as head coach for an upcoming fight while Eddie Futch worked another corner. It was Freddie's first experience leading a world champion. And from that point on, he would build what became one of the most legendary boxing gyms in history. Inside those walls, Roach refined a philosophy heavily influenced by Futch, but combined with his own unique drills, methods and systems. A philosophy that would go on to create more than 40 world champions.
That's my dog right there. I love Freddie. I respect Freddie 100%.
The #1 trainer in boxing.
So let's break down exactly what that philosophy is. Philosophy. Whenever you watch Freddie Roach work with boxers or break down technique, two things always stand out: position and anticipation. For Freddie, boxing is all about being in the correct position and at the correct distance. to be able to land punches and evade your opponent's attacks.
Right there, and we're both ready to fire at each other or to make the punch miss, okay? And that's what the position you gotta be into.
And every time you throw a punch, you should already be anticipating your opponent's reaction. That instinct comes from sparring and experience.
It's like when I used to box with Alex Arguello when I was his sparring partner. I mean, I used to tell Eddie, I says, he knows what I'm gonna throw before I do. You know, I'd throw a combination at him, and then he'd make everything miss, and I was amazed at how easily he made me miss.
But Roach also developed specific methods to train it deliberately. Starting with position, Roach teaches a neutral stance. Your feet shouldn't be too wide, which would hurt forward and backward movement. But they also shouldn't be too parallel, which would limit lateral movement.
When you're shoulder width apart, 1 foot forward, back foot's there. You have a good balance, good base.
One of the key footwork rules he constantly emphasizes is this. Whenever one foot moves, the other follows the exact same distance.
If 1 foot moves 3 inches, the following foot goes right 3 inches also. 6 inches, 6 inches, they work together at all times, in and out, side to side.
Another detail Roach teaches, especially during lateral movement, is avoiding becoming too square.
But a lot of times you get the tendency to get a little bit square there on that. You have to fight that motion.
A common habit among fighters who move side to side excessively. The key is to use small movements and remain in the correct position with your feet, always ready to punch and always ready to make your opponent miss. He is very detailed with foot positioning, especially regarding punch mechanics and which punches require a pivot and which do not. But we'll cover that later. But foot position is not the only important thing. Your position in relation to your opponent is also extremely important. One drill Roach constantly uses is having the boxer step in behind the jab.
Some of the drills I saw people out with was coming forward with their jab.
Paulie, because he won a couple rounds and then maybe...
Right there, if I move back, you come in again, it's all balanced.
In almost all of his mitt work, you will see Roach moving away and forcing his fighters to close distance by stepping in with the jab.
Knows if he lands one big shot, anything can happen. But he's getting on.
His pad work in general is never static. He constantly moves around, forcing the boxer to reposition while punching. This is one of the reasons Roach fighters often look so aggressive while still staying balanced.
So much energy, Tim, it's a point you brought up early. He's expending so much energy just standing there.
Apart from position, the other key part of his philosophy is anticipation. Boxing is a game of action and reaction. Roach insists on developing the habit of anticipating the opponent's next move.
But if you stop to think about it, if you end with a certain punch, you kind of know where the counter is going to be. I mean, it's pretty good. If she ends with the right hand, 90% of the time, my counter is going to be on the left side.
He would even drill the most likely counters to every shot so his fighters become defensively responsible while also staying one step ahead of their opponents. Now that we understand his philosophy, let's look at the Freddie Roach style. His style is based on always being in position, staying balanced, and being able to anticipate and counter the opponent's attacks. Based on this philosophy, Roach developed several unique drills and methods to teach his style. Quick double-ups, the 6-inch cross, accuracy, the Manil Ice. Quick double-ups. When you watch Freddie working the pads, another thing you will notice is how often he calls for double-ups.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4.
Most of the time, these come from the lead hand.
Good jab by Coro.
Roach will call for double, triple, and quadruple jabs thrown in quick succession. Other times he will call for hooks. And sometimes he will mix everything together into combinations using the same hand repeatedly.
Break. That's it. Coordination. Come on. There you go again.
However, Roach also taught his fighters to double up the cross, especially when fighting opponents in the opposite stance, for very specific reasons. The 6-inch cross. When it comes to the cross, Roach places huge emphasis on punch mechanics to generate power, insisting on pushing off the ground while pivoting the back foot, using an analogy from Eddie Futch.
You're pushing off the floor, bang, right there, like Eddie told me, like you're stepping on a cigarette or you're swashing a bug. You know, you're driving off the back foot. You're not just pivoting for show again. You're driving, you're pushing off the floor, and this will get you maximum power in the right hand.
As Freddie explains, the pivot is not just for show, but to push off the floor and generate power.
Manny's not picking up that title.
This differs from the uppercut. When throwing the uppercut, Roach actually advises fighters not to pivot. Again, for a very important reason relating to balance.
A lot of guys I see teach people to pivot in the uppercuts. The uppercuts take you up too high as it is, so you don't want to pivot. You're going to be set on these shots because the tendency of the uppercuts bring you up too high. If you pivot, you're going to come up way too high.
What a shot by Evander Holyfield! It was a twisting right.
You want to be set down in those shots. You bend your knees, you fire your shoulder through the body, fire your shoulder. It's all in your hips and your back.
But Roach doesn't teach a typical long cross. Instead, he teaches a much shorter cross, once again following his philosophy of getting into position first. When you throw the right hand too long, you leave yourself open to counters.
Guy with an amateur pedigree.
That is why he teaches what he considers the perfect 6-inch cross.
A 6-inch right hand is the best right hand. You know, you're right in position, your jab gets you there, you land that 6-inch right hand.
Okay, Jim, 3-0, 30-.
It's a beautiful shot, and that's a shot that will knock somebody out. Something that's short and they don't see coming.
A punch that looks simple, but completely changes the risk-reward of throwing the cross. The 6-inch cross is not only effective offensively, but it also makes it much harder for the opponent to counter. This punch was especially effective for fighters with shorter reach, allowing them to get into range first before landing the shot.
Yeah, we wondered whether Manny would be able to rise to the level, but he seems to be one
There,
of those.
down it goes with the left hand. Fight is over.
Fight's over. Thank you.
Big left hand. It came from not too far away.
About 6 inches.
As we explained before, Roach also taught Manny to double up the cross. Pacquiao would often counter opponents by moving his head off the center line and throwing the left cross.
Because that looks like Vargas is trying that. Does that work?
But in other situations, he would throw the left hand while moving to the outside, and then immediately double up the left again.
But still.
Got him with the uppercut.
By doubling up the left, Pacquiao created an even better angle and surprised opponents with an unexpected second shot.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know.
Straight left hand connects again.
But to pull off these picture-perfect shots, Roach would make emphasis on developing good accuracy. Roach believed punchers were born, but accuracy can absolutely be improved through training.
They say that punches are born and not made. I believe that is true. But I do believe you can improve on your punching, and you can improve on your punching with the accuracy of your punch.
If you notice, Roach often works with smaller mitts than usual, and he would sometimes even invite his fighters to target his chin during pad work instead of only punching the mitts. In all of his boxes, you can see how accurate they are with their punches.
He's won them all. In the eyes of judges, incidentally, he's won at least 49. And down goes Madonna.
Especially when teaching the lead hook, also known as Manil Ice, Roach placed huge emphasis on accuracy.
It's just like hitting a baseball. With your eye on the ball, you'll hit the target. My eye's on your chin. I'm right here. I know that's the spot I want to hit. That's a sweet spot. That's the point where I'll knock somebody out. I'm not going to miss.
It is precisely this focus on accuracy that led Roach to develop a radically different approach to teaching the lead hook compared to most trainers. That methodology is the inspiration behind this week's workout in the Skillr training app. This week's workout is based on Freddie Roach's boxing philosophy and his unique approach to coaching. It will guide you through your shadow boxing sessions, providing tips and insights to help refine your technique, with a particular focus on the distinctive lead hook that Roach teaches. The app includes more than 50 workouts, each designed to develop a specific aspect of your boxing. Every week, we release a new workout connected to our latest videos, allowing you to learn the theory and then immediately put it into practice. Become a Skillr boxer with the Skillr training app. And if you're already improving your boxing and enjoying the benefits of the app, we'd greatly appreciate a review. Your feedback motivates us to keep improving our product so we can continue helping you improve your boxing. Now, let's take a closer look at this unique way of teaching the lead hook. The Manil Ice. Most trainers will teach the lead hook by shadow boxing, working in front of a mirror, and then practicing it on a heavy bag. But Roach had a different approach. For Freddie, the best way to learn the lead hook was on the speed bag.
I think it's the best place in the gym to learn your left hook. The heavy bag is hard to learn the left hook on because the shape of the bag. Okay, you're going to catch it early in the bag. It's not as relevant like somebody's chin. This is.
Another reason is that the speed bag helps develop a shorter and quicker hook, which is exactly how Freddie likes his fighters to throw it.
Yeah, I just imagine an opponent in front of me. He's right there, his chin's right there. And right from that position, you see how short a left hook is. Okay, that's why I like that shot so much.
Now, this next tip is very important if you want to know whether you are throwing it correctly. The bag has to make a specific sound.
Right there.
If the bag makes that sound, it means you are throwing the punch correctly and following through properly. If not, you need to keep practicing.
Yeah, it's better. There you go, good. Good job. There you go. See, now that was the right sound I wanted to hear.
This perfect short lead hook became known as Manil Ice during the build-up to the second Morales fight. In the Philippines, Manil Ice refers to frozen water sold in plastic bags, something commonly used because many households historically didn't have freezers. When Pacquiao lost the first Morales fight, one reason was that he had not fully developed his lead hand. He had a great left cross, but very little lead hand offense.
Well, you know, he only had one hand. He had a big left hand, and that was knocking everyone around. We were kind of satisfied with that for a while.
He's a good fighter. He had no idea.
And then he lost to Morales. And after he lost to Morales, I told myself it's my job to make his right hand as good as his left.
So to prepare him for the rematch, they focused heavily on developing his right hand, especially his lead hook, which felt like getting hit with a block of ice, hence the name. Pacquiao was not only able to land the hook successfully, but he also became extremely effective at using it as a counter. Manny would lean back to evade the jab and immediately counter with the short, quick lead hook Roach taught him. This became one of the most successful punches throughout Pacquiao's entire career, proving Freddie's unorthodox teaching methods right.
Again, Martinez has a considerable advantage in reach. A terrible fight. He's in obviously ridiculous shape.
And with the Skillr training app, you will be able to perfect this technique as well. As you may have noticed, much of Freddie's boxing knowledge came from Eddie Futch. Futch is often considered one of the greatest boxing minds in history. He trained legendary fighters such as Joe Frazier, Larry Holmes, Ken Norton, Riddick Bowe, Michael Spinks, and Alexis Arguello, among many others. He was also one of the greatest strategists in boxing history, being responsible for 4 of Muhammad Ali's 5 losses, which tells you just how influential his understanding of boxing really was. So in the next episode, we'll break down all the small details that made Eddie Futch such a legendary coach. And if you want to follow the full Skillr Coaches series, you can find the playlist here with all the episodes. And if you don't want to miss future episodes, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.